Unlike the PS5, the Switch 2 is almost definitely going to have some games on release. So here's just a list of what I would like to see going into this new generation of the Switch. Let's get all the Mario shit out of the way first because I'm the biggest Mario fanboy you're probably ever gonna meet. Starting off, I think day one of the Switch 2's release, we're gonna have Mario Odyssey 2. The first one was really fucking good. It was probably one of the best 3D Marios that Nintendo's put out in a while. If they were to make a sequel to it, I think they would do it in the same way they did for Mario Galaxy, to where it would feel very much like the first game, but just enough differences to where you can call it a sequel. I think the whole Cappy concept still has a lot of potential that Nintendo could grapple into and, like, you know, expand more on like what they did in the first game. Plus, I'd just like to like revisit some of the kingdoms that were in Odyssey. Plus, at the very end of the game, we got to play as Bowser for a little bit, so maybe in the sequel to Odyssey, it could be Mario and Bowser sort of working together. I mean, that's definitely not an area Nintendo hasn't explored. They had Mario and Bowser working together in Bowser's Inside Story and RPG a long time ago. Just a small idea. And speaking of Galaxy, this would be a perfect time to release Galaxy 3. Everything about this game is such like a staple to the 3D like Mario series as a whole. Galaxy 1 came at a time where 3D Marios weren't exactly like the best in the whole franchise. 2D Mario, Paper Mario, and Mario Sports were kind of like the top dogs in the overall franchise. Sunshine was pretty good, but it was really fucking rushed, so it had like a bunch of bugs on release. But then Galaxy came out and the graphics were extremely polished. The music was fucking amazing. And this was the first 3D Mario game that actually expanded this like universe in the 3D Mario series. Some of these things, I will admit, Galaxy 2 did drop the ball on, but that's even more of a reason for Galaxy 3 to reintroduce these things into the next entry. Moving on, I thought Mario Wonder was a pretty damn good game, but it was really short. That's not like a bad thing or anything. 2D Mario games are usually pretty short. We might get some DLC there, fingers crossed. Also, I think we might see a Mario and Luigi game remastered, and here's why. When they were making the Mario and Luigi games way back then, they spitfired those shits like 3-4 years one after the other. Superstar Saga came out in 2003, then Partners in Time came out in 2005, and then Bowser's Inside Story came out in 2009. There was a larger gap in between Bowser's Inside Story and Dream Team, but then the gap in between Dream Team and Paper Jam was only 2 years. So we might see another game in this series either remastered or just another game entirely, but it may be a little later down the line. Like I would say maybe 2 or 3 years from now would be the perfect time to expect a new game. I don't think we're as likely to get a new Paper Mario. We might. That whole series is just kind of up in the air right now, so it's a really 50% chance. And to save best for last, Mario Kart 9 is probably coming out day of release. Okay, now that we got all that shit out of the way, Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom have to get remastered. The games are both beautiful and amazing in their own rights, but I'd love to play Tears of the Kingdom without fucking frame drops every 2 seconds. It does happen occasionally in Breath of the Wild 2, but just not like as much. But I think on the Switch 2, it's gonna be 60 FPS at the very minimum. At least that's what I'm hoping. Moving on, I think they got rid of the infrared sensors on the Switch 2 controllers, but I think they kept motion control. The Wii had motion control, the Wii U gamepad did, and the Joy-Cons did. So I don't think this generation they're gonna shy away from that anytime soon. For this reason, I think they might make a brand new Switch Sports because it is like one of their like console titles. They definitely did try to experiment with the original Switch Sports and then Switch Sports, what was it called? Fucking the DLC for Switch Sports. They tried to add basketball and a couple other things to it, and it just couldn't live up to the original Wii Sports. There's definitely like not even 100% chance this will happen, but if it does, they might go back to how Wii Sports was. At least that's what I hope happens. Speaking of going back to what works, I think the Switch 2 is going to have a lot more online features, similarly to how the 3DS did. I don't think the Switch 2 is just going to like completely migrate Street Pass or something like that, or like Miiverse over to the new console, but I don't think an online platform like that is completely ruled out either. But just to go back to the Street Pass idea for a minute, I don't think they're completely ready to abandon it, because I mean the Switch didn't have it, but I think it's like too unique of an idea, too like Nintendo of an idea to completely just like go silent on it right now. So that's why I'm saying they might make something similar this generation. One franchise that I think we could get a good revisit to is Nintendogs. It is a series that hasn't really been around for the Switch or the Wii U or the 3DS generation. If they are revisiting old series that they haven't touched in a while, I definitely want Nintendogs to be one of those series. I just personally have a lot of memories playing the games a long time ago as a kid on the DS, so it would be nice to have like a refresher of the series, a refresher of maybe some some of the games that were on the 3DS. Maybe they don't like create entirely new line of Nintendogs. That would be nice to see. That, as well as a new flip note. I know people were asking the hell out of Nintendo to get that on the Wii U and on the 3DS. They did it for like a couple years, but I guess the support just wasn't there for it. But there still definitely is a community for flip note, at least in my eyes, so that would be nice to see. You know, just like generally older things brought over to the newer system. They were sort of already doing this with some Game Boy games and GameCube as well, but now that the DS and Wii generation has been so long ago, maybe they start bringing over some of those things as well. Last but not least, a new Animal Crossing. I could see one coming out, like a new Animal Crossing, like 3 or 4 years into the Switch 2's life. I still want to revisit New Horizons and just like, you know, re-explore that game. Gets to like the end game, I guess, you know, where you pay off your house. Those are all my predictions. Let me know yours down in the funny comments.